Women leaders discuss participation in politics. France urged to address climate change. And caring for a child with special needs. Good evening and welcome. This is Tuesday's news. I'm Kilawani. A three-day workshop on advocacy and coalition building for women leaders across Momase region ended last week Thursday in Leh. The workshop was the third in a series of 4 workshops held in each region over the past 4 months. UN Women and the Department for Community Development and Religion organized the workshop to advance women's participation in politics.
The 3-day workshop that began last week Tuesday united over 30 women leaders across the Momase region in Leh. The workshop was part of the Women Make the Change program led by UN Women in participation with the PNG government, the autonomous Bougainville government and UNDP. It was funded by the governments of Australia and New Zealand and is focused on supporting women's political participation.
But at the moment, even at the sub-national level, only less than 1% are the board members, female board members. The rest are male. And in the national parliament, the percentage is 0. So it is very important for women to be part of the decision making.
We've already done 2. That's in the Port Moresby and for the southern region, and in Mount Hagen for the Highlands region. This is the 3rd one we are conducting together.
PNG women's political participation began in 1972 when Dame Josephine Abijah got elected as the first and only woman into PNG's first House of Assembly. In 1997, she got re-elected again as the first and only woman in the first National Parliament of Independent PNG. In 1997, Dame Carol Kidu got elected into Parliament and served for 3 terms. She served as the Minister for Community Development and was the first woman to hold the office of the opposition leader and retired in 2012. 3 other women were elected into Parliament during the 2012 national elections and served for a term. There are currently no women in Parliament.
It has to start with the voters, and the voters need to change. Suppose you mean by kisim this country blow you mean back na direct him fly good or some kumul. You mean need him voters? Long ting good na vote. Long all Mary, vote him all Mary go inside.
How do you get women into parliament, with Melanesian culture and ways of being and learning and, taking care? Because a woman plays a really big role for a man's status in a community.
Government institutions, including the Integrity of Political Parties and Candidates Commission, also proposed temporary special measures for women to be represented in Parliament. The 5 reserved seats for women and quotas for women in political parties were part of the temporary special measures provided.
We don't have a legal framework that engages women in politics. After seeing that the Registry of Political Parties took up the initiative to legislate the participation of women in politics, in that revised organic law, we've consulted with political parties and we've agreed that 20% of the total endorsement of candidates in an election endorsed by political parties should be women candidates.
Julie Badui, Owa, National EMTV News, Leh.
Prime Minister James Marape has called on the Republic of France to advocate for better ways to mitigate and address the impacts of climate change in the Pacific. He said this during a virtual conference with other Pacific Island nations co-hosted by France. Prime Minister Marape said industrialized nations should make an effort to reduce carbon emissions and global warming.
Prime Minister James Marape told the meeting that the Pacific nations share a similar predicament with the latest outbreak of COVID-19 and face the brunt of the impacts on the economies and healthcare service provisions. PM Marape said the continual advocacy for the small Pacific Island states on the global forum is very much needed.
Let me say, small island nations in Pacific are totally exposed to issues like climate change, issues like sea level rise, and as lately we felt the brunt of our countries being exposed to COVID-19.
PM Marape also invited the French Prime Minister for a visit to the country in the near future. Marape said, like many other countries, Papua New Guinea is opening its doors not to just investors but superpowers that can also assist address issues affecting the country. He said the Pacific Blueprint is one of the significant interventions to protect the ocean and its resources.
We look forward to many of your interface with us as we work together to ensure our Pacific Ocean, the blue Pacific continent, continues to remain a livable place for not just us in Pacific, but for planet Earth to enjoy.
The virtual conference was attended by Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison, leaders and representatives from the Pacific Islands Forum, New Zealand, Cook Islands, Samoa, French Polynesia, Tuvalu and Vanuatu.
In the same vein, Mr. President, I'd like to appeal to you in global forums. May you be Pacific's advocate to natural disasters and many of the problems we face in Pacific, and may you try to ensure that our voices are heard.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Marape has also confirmed to attend the UN Climate Change Conference in Europe later this year. Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
PNG Forest Authority swore in 6 new board members today to serve the office. The new members will serve a term of 2 years. The event was officiated by the company's acting corporate lawyer, Tobias Dalid.
It was a momentous ceremony today, as it was the first time the minister in his term for forestry, Walter Snowbell, to witness the swearing-in of the 6 new board members.
And we do so without fear or favor, affection.
Minister Snowbell said with the members being sworn in, they will help bring up the industry to another level from where it is now. He said in order for them to achieve that, they need effective functioning management team.
Some of those visions look at the royalty. The process of payments of royalty. Look at increasing the royalty, landowners' royalty, which haven't been increased for about 12 years now. Look at the payment disbursement of those royalties. Some license we pay direct, and some license we don't. I would like to look at ways that we can pay all landowners direct every 30 days.
As the board members look forward in serving the industry, Snowbell said the aim is to improve and amend the Forest Act to be better to serve the industry's vision.
There's a lot of areas that I feel that we could improve on in the forest sector. There's some that, of course, the NGO and the public have a view on. That I would like to also claw back some much needed respect as we go forward. And this will take a partnership effort to achieve this. It's not going to take a one-man band to achieve this.
During the ceremony, Snowbell stated that NEC approved a reduction of round log tax.
We want to create an environment that's going to be a fair playing field on everybody. Both landowners, developers, the government, and I'm happy to announce that NEC has just approved the reduction of round log duty taxes from its current category down to 38.5% across the board.
Straight after the swearing-in ceremony, the new members went for a board meeting. Podivai, National EMTV News.
The Kundiawa Rugby League youths have partnered with the Conservation and Environment and Protection Authority, or SEPA, to plant trees. This is part of the nationwide World Environment Day celebrations to plant 1 million trees and mangrove trees every year to address climate change and global warming. Environment Minister Wera Mori was in Kundiawa town last weekend for the tree planting exercise.
The official tree planting activity took place in the heart of Kundiawa town near BSB Bank and Police Station. Environment, Conservation and Climate Change Minister Wera Mori urged his colleague politicians to create opportunities for youths to keep themselves busy to avoid involving in homebrew, drug and criminal activities. Minister Mori said involving youths in rugby league and such tree planting activities is a double sword to address both climate change and law and order issue.
The economic sustainability is difficult and may not be there all the time. But on record, there are a few travels that I have supported as a small SMEs. And you know what, today the SME, they turnover every year, the cash flow runs into millions, and I'm proud of them.
SEPA Deputy Managing Director Dilu Mugua also encouraged youths to be responsible citizens in conserving their land, waters and animals and protect it to help minimize climate change effect. Mugua presented a check of 100,000 kina from SEPA to Kundiawa Rugby League to support them in sports and involve in tree planting activities. Minister Mori and the SEPA team have traveled and distributed tree seedlings throughout Chimbu province. They will continue to Eastern Highlands and other coastal provinces for awareness programs and tree and mangrove planting programs.
And now come to 2021 and for the next 10 years, 2030, people must aim at planting 1 million DY along every year inside on Chimbu and Eastern Highlands. People are to launch a program on Eastern Highlands. Same reasons.
Come November this year, Minister Wera Mori, who is the chair of the Coalition for Rainforest Nation, will travel to Scotland for the Climate Change Conference. The tree and mangrove planting activities are a drive to protect the environment and a way of selling PNG at the global stage. This, in a way, will also improve the funding and capacity building of conserving the environment and responding to climate change. Vasanatha Yama, National MTV News, Mount Hagen.
You're watching National MTV News. More stories when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. The roadworks in Madang are being built to the standards required by Department of Works. Member for Madang, Brian KRAMER, said this when he was responding to remarks by residents that the drainage system under construction is substandard.
Madang MP Brian KRAMER says Madang DDA is funding its own road company and is spending up to 35 million kina. 15 million kina was used to purchase its own equipment in order to cut costs and build more roads without the involvement of middlemen and contractors. KRAMER says the drainage currently under construction is built according to the Department of Works standard with verification from an independent engineer. KRAMER says critics commenting on the drains and roadworks are welcome to present their engineering report.
And to come and basically give their opinion based on what qualifications they're making it and what experience.
Meanwhile, Madang District Development Authority has budgeted for the release of 40 PMV trucks throughout rural wards of Madang. Madang DDA is carrying out maintenance in the rural roads and then presenting 8 trucks to the wards. 9 have already been purchased, with 31 more trucks to procure.
So because these are trucks supplied by the DDA, it's not there to make a profit, it's to help people be able to have access to transport. So there's no point us repairing the road and only watching the people look for transport and walk down basically another 4 or 5 hours to find a truck or PMV.
Transport committee is set up in each of the rural wards to manage and run the PMV, while Medeng DDA supervise and support the committee. Under the ward project program, the PMV trucks can also be used to support wards in emergencies or other transport needs for the community.
So they're required to deposit the money. We monitor the deposits of the accounts, and we help them manage the vehicle, service and repair on the vehicle, as well as in terms of fuel and running. So those that don't comply with our guidelines in assisting the manage, then the vehicles are grounded, and a new transport committee is put in place to run the PMVs.
Masa Luis, National EMTV News, Medeng.
The National Airport Corporation, Medeng Chamber of Commerce and local MP Brian KRAMER have raised concerns on the 3 weeks airport shutdown. The meeting is to brief the business community and residents on the effects the proposed temporary shutdown will have on the community.
So there has been some discussion and proposed by Sir Peter Barre, and he's been having discussion with another third-level airline, the likes of Tropic Air, to see if they can organize a smaller, twin-otter plane to be based in Medeng and to be able to ferry passengers from Medeng to Lae to catch the Lae commercial flights that travel in and out of Lae. So that option is being considered. Hopefully we can find out tomorrow where there is an option of, if there is a closure, we can minimize it from 3 to 1. If we aren't able to find a solution, then the only other option is for a third-level airline to fly in and out of ferry between here and passengers between here and Lae, which means basically a 45 minutes here to Lae and then from one Lae to Port Moresby versus being caught on a 6-hour or having to drive 6 hours from here to Lae to jump on a flight and then fly back, coming back here another 6 hours.
400 students of flexible open and distance education in Medeng were given tablets and home learning pack sets respectively to help improve their learning. The distribution of the tablets and learning materials comes under the Global Partnership for Education COVID Relief Packages. PNG Ford Principal Anthony Rayapan says Medeng was one of the 5 districts identified where these 400 students will benefit under this program.
In a small yet significant ceremony held on Friday, the 400 students received their tablets and home learning backpacks respectively. The program was initiated by donor partners to help the COVID-affected districts that were identified last year.
Due to COVID, students' studies and teaching also disrupted, and to help them where they can stay at home and study, that's how this initiative has been arranged. For that reason, and we have taken up this initiative to give that free tablets to them and also learning from home.
Ford is also looking at improving each rundown facilities and creating more classrooms as student enrollment increased to 1,500. Ford is now looking at partnering with the provincial government and the districts to get in counterpart funding to help improve the infrastructures.
We wanted to improve the facility that we have secured some funding, but we are looking for partnership with the provincial government.
The national government has also given directives to utilize the existing secondary schools in the country to accommodate Ford. Currently, the Education Department is piloting this concept with secondary schools in Southern Highlands.
We are now piloting that concept with Southern Highlands right now. So the 10 secondary schools in Southern Highlands are piloting that. So we had a workshop in Hagen, at Islander.
Local MP Brian KRAMER told the students the tablets and home learning packs are tools given to them to help them with their studies. He also encouraged them to be determined and committed to their studies.
Education tools are stuff low one kind, low quality. So today you see this low tablet, but we can talk the same top picture. Emosa kapata you olim hama.
Masa Luis, National EMTV News, Medeng.
Waigani Christian Academy has recently opened a state-of-the-art science laboratory. School founder Benjamin Moole says the lab is funded by the national government. Moole says the lab is a resource that will assist students in their field of study.
Parents, students, teachers and other stakeholders gathered over the weekend at the Waigani Christian Academy school grounds to witness the opening of the laboratory. At the cost of nearly 1.4 million, the lab is a support infrastructure towards this learning institution. Founder Benjamin Moole says the lab boasts critical component to advance student learning.
So I'm happy that the national government recognized Waigani Christian College and they donate the science lab. And we're supposed to use it, but because of coronavirus, we delayed it.
Waigani Christian School has been the door to many students who have been pushed out of the formal education system. A senior teacher says academically results have been positive over the years. He says new facilities will encourage learning.
We are here to help you because we believe that your child has still a chance, a potential to have a better future in life. Though the system stream them or filter them out, here we give them a second chance. We are here to create a better future. And I think that's already proven that we are really creating a better future for your children.
The pandemic has also delayed some other developments in the school. The school has also prepared its staff with the standard-based curriculum set to roll out. Meanwhile, the institution's founder said despite factors affecting the school, Christian values will be upheld as a virtue in students' learning.
Our teaching, our curriculum, our programs, our activities must always be based on Christianity. This is the only solution. You will see the light at the end. And it happens to me. And I'm a testimony here. That's why I set up the school.
Jack Lopava Jr., National EMTV News.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the Kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina will buy $0.2775 $0.3710 Australian dollars, $0.3926 New Zealand dollars, and 29.89 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee and copper closed higher, cocoa closed lower, palm oil closed higher, crude oil is trading lower, and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading higher, the All Ordinaries is trading higher. We have more stories when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. With the national government partnering with commercial banks to put funding into the agriculture sector to boost economic activities, Prime Minister James Marape is urging the people of Central Province to utilize their land to encourage agricultural activities. This was one of the messages delivered during the recent Central Provincial Agro-Tourism Show.
Our local security teams that
with the implementation of the SMART plan by Central Governor Robert Agarobe, agriculture is the key element to drive the province's economy. He says the government must provide incentives to rural-based farmers to boost agricultural activities for the majority of the population living in the rural setting.
80% of our people live in the rural areas and 97% of land is owned by them. So we thought that to drive the economy of our country, we needed to get our people mobilized. We needed to give incentives to our people. And in that way, they can then mobilize themselves and then mobilize the 97% of the land that they own.
Papua New Guinea is one of the countries in the world where approximately 97% of the land is held by its traditional owners. The customary land ownership in PNG generally recognizes the traditional users of the land and their personal and clan arrangements for land use. Prime Minister James Marape, recently speaking during the Central Provincial Agro-Tourism Show, urged the people of Central to utilize their land and create avenues for economic benefits.
Last 20 years, if you have been wasting doing nothing, I point you to what Governor Agarobe is trying to do today. Go back to your land.
Your land is something you have that no one else has on planet Earth. Many countries in face of planet Earth, their citizens do not own land. We, Papua New Guinea, our citizens, you still own your land. Is it okay? So my people, what I'm telling you, there's money in our land.
Meanwhile, the member for Goilala District, William Sam, is calling on the locals to take initiative in utilizing their land to attract development.
You will not can wait na to call member by come working, no guy. Because suppose member come, you by talk them, all go campaign. But you yet you work here, you miss on a backside. That's the partnership that we planning. Not only lo this plan, but lo development lo you mean.
Suli, National EMTV News.
Goilala district in the Central Province has been for long a fertile district with the potential for the district to be a food bowl of Port Moresby. But there still remains challenges to accessing the markets of Port Moresby, especially with the road conditions and the rugged terrain to the district.
Goilala district in the Central Province has so much potential to provide the National Capital District with fresh garden produce. Member for Goilala William Sam says the district administration sees the potential of the district to produce fresh quality vegetables and are looking to open up access to markets for this produce.
We're trying to mobilize our people to see if we can become a food bowl for Port Moresby, because we know we have a potential there. We've got challenges like infrastructure, transport, price, freight. Those are challenges we have, but we've got to start somewhere.
Having access to markets in the city for Goilala produce is made even difficult with the district located in one of the most remote areas of the country.
We started with partnership with rural airstrips to open up our airstrips. While doing that, we also have punched roads. For example, we punched one through Waitape from Kuriva, and as well our main road, the Tapini Road.
With a variety of crops available in Goilala district, there has been help from local businesses to market these products, which include coffee as well.
So we'd like to also thank IGP, Islands Green Products, and Central Mamina, who are basically family businesses, but they're promoting inland coffee from Afore to inland Rigo, Goilala, Koyari, and even Kantiba.
The culture of Goilala was on show as well at the recently concluded Central Province Agro-Tourism Expo, which William Sam says was a chance for outsiders to see some of the cultural dancing and customs of the district.
I also have two chiefs here at my back. We also brought at least 3 groups of dancers from Goilala. We brought them to Tufi last year, and we brought them here so that they can show the rich culture that Goilala has. So hopefully going forward we can formalize them so they can really participate on other events as well. But we hope that what we have demonstrated during the 3 days here at Kwikila will also portray the rich culture that we have in Goilala, where we really do not want to miss.
Felix Sukina, National EMTV News.
Caring for a child with special needs requires a lot of patience and persistence from parents and caregivers. And this is an area Papua New Guinean writer Eva Kuamin talks about in her newly published book, My Love Natugu. For Eva, the past 7 years have been challenging, caring for her daughter with special needs. She didn't know what to expect when her daughter Sarah fell ill, and hopes sharing her story can help other parents and caregivers. On Saturday, she launched her book, My Love Natugu.
On Saturday, 12-year-old Sarah was carried into the Lei International Hotel's Bulolo room by her mother, Eva Kuamin. Her seat was made before she was put down. Young Sarah suffers from epilepsy, which is her current diagnosis. She is unable to walk, talk, or move by herself and has to be helped by her mother and other caregivers. On Saturday, Sarah's mother, Eva, launched a book titled My Love Natugu, telling their story.
And I'd like to share that light with other parents and caregivers to encourage them, to give them hope, to continue on loving and caring for their special people in their life.
Sarah has not always been a child with special needs. She was living life as an average child until she fell ill 7 years ago. She was first diagnosed with TB meningitis. This developed to hydrocephalus, then to cerebral palsy, and her latest diagnosis is epilepsy. These are all conditions of the brain. Eva said she did not know what to expect with Sarah's condition, but it developed a special bond and has taught her to be strong.
And to see her condition in another sense, in another view, regardless of how she is right now, I can say now that she, despite her condition, she is a blessing.
Eva hopes the book My Love Natugu can shed more light into the life of parents and caregivers caring for children with special needs. Her book launch was supported by the Digicel Foundation of PNG. Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The SPPNG Hunters will be looking to use last weekend's confidence-boosting win over the Northern Pride as their first step to ending their Intrust Super Cup campaign on a positive note. Providing that the Hunters display the same consistency and discipline in their remaining matches, the PNG side would be in with a shout to secure a spot on top of the ISC table.
The SP PNG Hunters win over the Northern Pride has taken its toll on the team, with the side finishing the match with only one player on the bench. The casualties included Captain Ila Alu with a HIA, Samuel Yagip with an ankle injury, and Dilbert Isaac sustaining an injury to his finger. These key players may be sidelined due to the injuries after last weekend's encounter. The standout performer of the match, without a doubt, was Hunters winger Solo Wane, who scored a hat-trick of tries. Wane's rise to prominence has been a positive story for the PNG side, given the string of losses this season. With speed to burn, Wane has so far scored 5 tries in his 5 appearances for the Hunters. The win over the Northern Pride last weekend sees the Hunters move up a spot to 10th place with 8 points. A highly confident Hunters outfit will host the Mackay Cutters next weekend. Axel Lovai, Trukai Sports.
We bring you the weather report after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
Weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region, Port Moresby, cloudy periods. Daru, partly cloudy with brief overnight showers. KRAMER, cloudy with some showers. Alotau, partly cloudy. Popondetta, cloudy periods with patchy rain. In the Mamase region, Leh, cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorm. Madang, cloudy periods with brief early morning showers. Wewak and Vanimo, cloudy with some showers. And the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau and Kimbe, few showers. Kavieng, cloudy periods. Kokopo, Rabaul, cloudy periods with brief showers. Buka, partly cloudy with few early morning showers. And the Highlands region, all centers, few overnight showers, then morning fog. Forecast for small crafts for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG-Indonesian border through Torres Strait to Daru to Kiwai Islands to KRAMER to Yule Island to Hood Point to Samarai Islands seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters of Samarai Islands to Cape Vogel and eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, with waters north of Long Island to Medang, to Wewak, to Aitape, to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border, and with waters of West New Britain, seas 1.5 to 2.5 meters. Waters north of Cape Vogel through Huon Gulf to Finschhafen, and with waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Finschhafen through Vitius Dampier Straits to Siasi Long Islands, seas 2.5 to 3 meters. Waters of New Ireland to East New Britain and Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Ocean forecast for PNG areas: coral seas, seas moderate to rather rough with southeast winds of 15 to 25 knots. Solomon seas, seas slight to moderate with southeast winds of 10 to 20 knots. Bismarck seas, seas slight to moderate, becoming rough along central sector with east to southeast winds of 10 to 20 knots, reaching 25 to 34 over central sector. Pacific Ocean seas slight to moderate with northeast to southeast winds of 10 to 20 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for today, Tuesday, 20th of July, 2021. On behalf of the entire MTV News team right around the country, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.